Hello everyone, today we have new video review with fresh release from Czech company Eduard. As you can see, it's much anticipated BF109G6 late series, and this is actually a corrected version of the previous kit which we saw before. It's also molded in 1/48 scale. Nevertheless, this time it has a different box art and absolutely different plastic parts. As you can see, box art is finished by Koike Shigeo, it's famous Japanese painter, and I think it looks really nice. Then on the side we have 5 marking options which are included into this kit. I would say that the choice is quite diverse and you will be able to pick up the one you really like. And on the other side there is some information about the kit that includes plastic parts, footage, accessories and painting masks, and also the special code, address of the Eduard and some other information. Yes, this is a Profipack, so you get all the bonuses inside. I mean, except of the resin parts, which you will have to buy separately. Nevertheless, that should be more than enough in order to build quite convincing aircraft. This is a top opening box, and that's what we find inside. As you can see, almost each plastic bag contains 2 plastic sprues. For the transparent sprue we have separate Ziploc bag, so let's start from this one. I hope you remember that in our small preview from the Nuremberg I told you that all dimensions of this model will be corrected, and it can be said about the transparent parts as well. As you can see, molding quality is quite nice. Here Eduard decided to not to use the traditional circle frame, and we have, let's say, typical squarish frame which carries all the parts. Note that there are some parts which should be used with different versions, which hints that we can expect some other, let's say, types of this aircraft in the close future. Nevertheless, Eduard decided to start from the G6, but who knows what will be in the upcoming months. So the next plastic bag carries 2 plastic sprues. One is dedicated to the wing parts, and here I would zoom the camera even more so that you can see all small features. So each wing part carries extensive riveting and also recessed panel lines. As you can see, wheel wells should be assembled separately. Also, the model will have separately assembled air intakes, ailerons and flaps. Then also here we have top wing halves, and note that now wing ends are molded together with top halves. You won't have to glue them separately as it was in the previous kit, and the front slats are also separately molded. Inside there is minor detailization for the wheel wells. Here you can see it, and here you can note that wing ends are molded as one piece from each side, and I think they will serve as a good, let's say, positioning element during assembly process. Next we have plastic sprue with fuselage parts. Here the parts division stays approximately the same to the previous kit. So as you can see, we have recessed panel lines, riveting, and separately molded top cooling part. Of course, exhausts are also separate. Note that there is no hump on the wing root as it was on the previous release. Of course, air intake for the engine, for the compressor, and also the typical humps on the top fuselage, they are molded separately and they will have to be attached separately. Eduard still retained this piano hinge typical for this aircraft. As you can see, it's molded separately and will have to be installed on these cooling parts. And what's even more, let's say, interesting, because they saved this traditional, I would say, scheme for the BF109 kits, where we have, let's say, separately molded tail parts so that you can install different parts for the different versions. And of course, rudder is molded separately as well. Inside we have just some minor detailization. Here you can see it. Nevertheless, it's much better than the previous release. We have a lot of positioning elements, and I don't see any position pins for the fuselage halves, but here is the trick, because I mean the cockpit itself and also this small thing here will serve as a good position elements, even better than the position pins. So no worries, it should be simple to assemble this model. Now just give me a second. Now we have two large sprues packed into the same plastic bag. And those large sprues obviously are dedicated to small elements for the external and internal detailing. So here we have landing gear elements for the tail wheel, for example. Then we have here, for example, parts for the external tank. I think we should zoom camera out a bit. Then here we have exhausts, several types of the gun barrels, some parts of the wings, I think those are flaps. And here we have some tail segment parts. Everything is molded really nicely. Here we have one-piece air intakes, and let's flip them over. So you can note that there are position pins in the external tank, and there is some detailing in the flaps and some other parts. Eduard also includes external machine gun cannons which were attached on the wings. Nevertheless, don't forget that you can also buy a special brassine upgrade set which will be even more detailed and can be opened on your aircraft. Here we can see the special parts division. Of course there will be brassine wheels, nevertheless Eduard decided to use separately molded wheel rims. Here we have separately molded wheel tires. As you can see, there are several types of those, and they're molded as one piece. Here you can see it. Also here we have some cockpit parts. Then we have some belly rack for the fuselage. Three types of the propeller. All three types are molded as one piece. Then we have, of course, one piece cockpit floor, which is molded with the backside for the pilot seat. Two types of the dashboard, one is with pre-molded dials and one is plain for the PE parts, and some other external parts. For example, here we have landing gear legs, some landing gear wheel wells parts, and again we have here external tank parts and even propeller hub, which is molded as a one piece. Molding quality is quite impressive, I would say, and I hope that dimensions are much better than in the previous kit, because some modelers were complaining about the dimensions. Nevertheless, it's important to mention that only dimensions were bad in this model. I mean, it still was easy to assemble, and in the end you got a really nice aircraft. Next we have assembly manual. Assembly manual is typical for the Eduard. Again we have short history note on the front page. Again we have parts map on the second page. Assembly process is explained with those nice schemes. And note that there are different versions included, and there are special notes on what part you should use for this or that marking option. Then we have masks application guide. Note that it covers not only the canopy but also the internal parts as well as wheels. Also we have marking options which are printed in color with paint numbers given and Gunzin numbers. And what else? On the back side there is a stenciling guide, which is quite extensive, I would say, and in 48 scale it would, let's say, benefit your model, because final appearance will really be more realistic after application of all the small writings on your model. Then we have separate Ziploc bag with small PE thread. This is as you can see, pre-painted PE thread for the interior and also for some exterior elements, for example intake meshes and, for example, exhaust cover. It's a typical Eduard product, so nothing to comment about. I mean, quality is very nice. Here is a separate bag with masks. Again, just another Eduard product, really good quality, and it should be helpful during assembly. Then we have two decal sheets. Both are printed in Eduard, and as you can see, they include all necessary symbols for 5 marking options. They include even the spinner decals. Nevertheless, I would rather prefer masks for the spinner on the propeller, and I think many modelers will agree with me. And the separate decal sheet is dedicated to the stencils. Here they are. And note that they are given in 2 different colors, red and black, so I'm sure that one set will be left after the build and you can use it on some other model. So that's all for the video review. Nevertheless, as usual, I recommend you to check full review article on our website, because there will be detailed photos and also some information about this kit. Of course, I will be happy if you press the like button below, because it will help us greatly, as well as if you will subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook group. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video review.